Welcome to my stream. How is everyone today? Yeah, it was a last minute stream. Sorry about that. I didn't really give people any warning. I've actually moved to El Salvador. How wonderful was that? I moved last week. I'm going to show you where I am. Where's my pin location? Let me have a look at this. You can see the map. There we go. There you go. That's where I am. Oop. That's not it. It's here actually. Don't know why it's there. Whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm in San Blas in El Salvador, and this is San Salvador there. About 30 minutes away. So I'm by the coast, and then the airport is there. So the airport's about 30 minutes away. So 30 minutes from San Salvador, 30 minutes from the airport, and the main destination is El Tunco, which is about 5 minutes away. And the San Blas is kind of like the Costa del Sol in Spain. And Tunco is more like, it's a real surfers resort, Tunco and Playa San Salvador. And Tunco means the pig, because there's a rock there that looks like a pig. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know. See, it looks like a pig on its back with his arms. At the moment, because it's the sunny season, the summer, it's all sandy. And in the winter, what happens is that the swell, the tide, brings it all the rocks in. So the winter here will start around the end of April, and then all the way through to the end of October, and then summer begins beginning of November through to the end of April. And so right now, if you go to Tunco, all the beaches is pretty much sandy. So it's quite nice. It's quite a nice place. So this is where I am in El Salvador. So I finally did it. I finally moved. I've been planning this for a while. Anyway, I'm just going to continue and carry on. I'm still kind of figuring out my setup. I hope my internet stream is okay. Just having a look. I can see that there's no drop frames, so that's good. All right, let's kind of carry on our analysis. I'm going to start with Bitcoin. It's quite hot here, so I'm also drinking a cool drink while I stream. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, and let's have a look at the previous week and see what's going on. Let me kind of hide this stuff that I did before. Let's have a look at last week's candle. Nice buying tail, but pretty bearish. Why is it bearish? Well, increasing volume, decreasing prices, that's a bearish trend. It was a lower close, the week closed lower, that's bearish. And it closed below that pivot, that's bearish too. Lots of bearish signs. This on the weekly time frame is a lower low, another lower low, so that's bearish. It's like the market structure is bearish. It's bearish, trend continues. And what I was thinking was the possibility of a Wyckoff accumulation pattern. I talked about this. I talked about the possibility of it. I was saying that what we need is an ST in phase B. That would require a swing failure of sorts, a lower low, but then a swing failure without taking out this low, just a lower than this SC. The sign of strength to confirm this would be a reclaim of the SC, and we didn't get that. Well, not only did we not get that, we didn't get a swing failure, we didn't get a sign of strength, and then the price crumbled. Yeah, and so naturally everyone was looking at this idea of a Wyckoff accumulation. As soon as it didn't happen, dump. That's basically how the markets reacted. It's really straightforward. As soon as it didn't happen, as soon as we had the price not managed, no signs of strength here, no reclaims, nothing, it was a straightforward exit and liquidation event for traders. This was a bounce. It's a pretty weak bounce. And now what we're seeing is a failed Wyckoff. So let's just ignore the Wyckoff for now. I'll keep it there in my history. And then what I was talking about last week, my last stream, was a bearish trend. It looks bullish, but it's bearish. It's bearish because you get the bounce and you get some kind of bearish flag. But ultimately, you're getting lower highs, you're getting compression, higher lows, but ultimately you're getting some kind of bearishness here. I can't see any strength at the moment. And then when I look at the order flow, I'm seeing no bullish CVD, no absorption, no interest. Effectively, there's no interest here. I can't see people. I don't think the people are interested. Traders are interested at these prices. They're probably looking for lower. That's what it looks like to me at the moment. I can't see any real interest in these prices. I can't see any bullish CVD. The price you see, it's underneath the daily open, underneath the daily VWAP, it's bearish. There's no chance of recovery at the moment. I'm not seeing any bullish absorption. That's the order flow. That's basically it at the moment. Yeah. So let's have a look at the charts. Let's just kind of update the volume levels. This is not going to be a long stream because it's pretty obvious what we're experiencing now. A head and shoulders pattern which has dumped, broken the neckline. We are back into this previous range. We are getting acceptance into this previous range, pretty much. If I draw these horizontal lines, you can see that. That's pretty much acceptance. We haven't found any support of the previous range point of control. It's just gone through. That's a liquidity sweep without any strength. And what we're finding is acceptance back into this previous range. And when you get acceptance into a previous range, when you're clearing the liquidity at the point of control, then you're probably going for the lows. Probably you're heading for the lows. We almost touched the value area low of the previous range, and the probability is for another attack of the lows. That's the probability. I was talking about a 54k attack, 54k long, and so let's just kind of analyze that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the volume overall. You see now, and this is quite interesting, when I analyze the volume from this, and this is an SR flip here. You see that? There's a very clean SR flip here just below this value area. When I pull the volume from when we enter above this SR flip all the way to the current price, this is probably a more accurate grasp of the range now. So it's a developing range. It's a much higher time frame range, and it extends from when we entered the range back in February 24 through to the current time. Okay, so that's a good 2-year range. This is a 2-year range. What you can now see is that the price is kind of consolidating above the point of control. So this is not bullish. It's not bullish because we've kind of cleaned the, we haven't found any support of the point of control. We've cleaned this, cleared the liquidity. It's fine. It looks like it's finding support, but the reality is it's not. Okay, until we see a really clean reaction with a change in market structure, I don't think we're finding support just yet. And I would say arguably there is a chance that we're going to go for the low of this new range for an attack of the lows there for a test. Now, last week I was talking about a 54k long. Let me just go back to that 54k long. Let me pull in my levels now. Hold on, let me just update my levels. So I'm going to go for the higher time frame levels first. Let's look at the weekly levels. Nothing new. Monthly, nothing new. Daily, let's have a look at the daily levels. Get rid of that wash daily. Let's wash now. Just mark it as washed. Yeah. Today, if it's a red day, which the probability is that it will be, then we're looking at a new daily level above the price action. We have a daily level here. And daily level here. This daily level's wash, but it has reacted, so I'll keep it there just because I can see that there was a clean reaction off that daily level. So it could act as support even though it's been tapped once. You could get a swing failure and it could hold. So just keep that in mind. These are your levels. Let's have a look at the order flow again. Let's have a look at the naked points of control. Hey mate, Mark Speranza, welcome. Thank you for joining me. It's good. I'm in El Salvador. I've moved. So yeah, another day, but in another country, this time for good, hopefully. I've got a nice house here. I talked about it right at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, everything's good. I'm just doing my my hobby, my weekly YouTube stream. I might stream more now that I'm here. I might stream a bit more regularly. I might start trading again. And so if I start trading again, I'm going to stream more. So last year I didn't trade at all. But it had a bit of a crazy year last year. But now that I've kind of settled, I'm settling. I'm on in a different kind of vibe and frequency. Much calmer, much more relaxed. Maybe I'm going to start trading in. Because when you're trading, you have to be really calm. You have to be really relaxed. Just zen. You have to be zen. I didn't have that last year, actually. It was a pretty crazy year for me. Anyway, let me just go back into the charts. No one's interested in my life. How are you doing, Mark? So there's a naked point of control here, 66320. I'm going to mark them down. I don't know why my social stream isn't working. I'm not sure why it's not working. It should work, but it's not. I didn't check it. That channel. Maybe that's going to be better. Naked daily point of control. So we have 65768. Don't know why my social stream's not working. It's a shame. I didn't check it. Let me see if I can get it working. I'll restart it. This is active. Oh, I think I need to activate something. What do I need to do to make this work? Right, let me try this again. 66320. Yes, my social stream is working again. Thank you. Perfect. I like it when things work. 60220. Anything above us? What's that? That's 78220. I'm not sure if I have that already. Delete these ones. These are all gone. Gone. It's all gone. Go back to this order flow. It's good to get these levels. Like a lot of people don't realize how important these levels are, especially when you're trying to trade. 78240. 80980. 88200. 89240. That's your daily. Naked daily points of control. Go to naked weeklies. Let's have a look at the weekly points of control. 90922. Whatever. 90860. Any more? Let's go to monthlies. Let's have a look at the monthlies. Eight two seven six eight. And then higher up 91292. Right, I've got those levels, and then it's just good practice to do this. Well, people don't realize when it comes to charting, it's all about preparation. It's all about information and data. And so what you're doing is you're just going through the charts and you're just gathering data. You're putting in different levels which matter. And the levels that we look at are liquidity levels. So they're very important. And even if you don't use them, it's important. It's a good practice. I'm going to go back through the numbers and then put these levels in. Naked daily point of control 65768. Why did I do that? That's better. Six 66320. 60220. 78240. Have I got that already? Nope. Seven. 200. See which. Yeah, so I've got those ones. That's fine. All the way to the weekly. Which one is that? I think I've got the weeklies already. Got the weeklies already. And the monthly. Do I have the monthlies? I think I've got the monthly. That monthly. And 82768. That's a new one. All right, so these are on naked points of control. So naked points of control are basically points of control from previous higher time frame levels that haven't been traded through yet. And so usually what happens is that, let's say there's a point of control on a daily time frame, and then the next day, in the future, what happens is the price usually comes back to recapture the liquidity from that point of control before continuing the trend. And that's why they're very important. It's a high probability action, the price going back to retest liquidity levels for continuation. That's why they're important. And when you have those levels coinciding with other levels, you have a little bit of confluence where you can take trades based on the reaction. So that's why they're important. On their own, they're not very important, but when you kind of mix them into other levels like higher time frame levels and fibs, etc., then you can get really nice trades. So this is the naked points of control. What did I do? I've got the higher time frame levels, and then I've got this kind of volume. Let me just have a look at the higher time frame volume, because I had that before. Let me look at that higher range volume. Let's look at that. That's the higher range. Forget about that. So you've got this overall volume level here with the V value area high here. That's the overall volume level. And some different channels. So interestingly, the price has bounced off this channel here. You see that? Look, it's a perfect bounce. I'm going to have a look at that. And then you've got these higher time frame fibs. All right, so there's a few things going on here. And I'm just going to put these back all together so I can analyze them. I don't want to lose. I don't know why this is messing up. Go to a higher time frame. Let's look at the weekly time frame. think last week I was saying that because of this head and shoulders pattern with a kind of ascending neckline like that, probably we'll get a 1-to-1 from the breakout from the head to the neckline. That would take us to 50k, which would also take us to this value area high back test on the higher time frame, and also this value area low of this higher range. I think that's the most probable outcome at the moment. I was thinking about 54, but now when I look at it, I'm possibly thinking a little bit lower. And no one really knows exactly where the price is going to find support. And this is the thing, no one knows. It's really important that when you're looking at the charts, you have an open mind about knowledge, about knowing the future. We don't know what's going to happen. And so what you're looking for are signs of reversal, signs of support, signs of reaction. And that way you can understand the market better, understand the levels better, and then make higher probability quote unquote bets or trades. And that's what we're looking for, really. No one knows how low this is going to get. And usually when Bitcoin or crypto or the markets dump, they over dump. Yeah. So you're saying, oh yeah, 54 is a nice level, I'm just going to buy there. Why would you just buy at 54? Well, when I put my previous analysis in, I've got my higher time frame. So you're looking at the levels of Confluence. And in this context, you're looking at levels where you have matching lines. 3 or more is a higher probability. And so here you can see there's 3 lines together here. That's at around 56 to 57. And then here you've got more lines together. See that? That's around 54. See that? And then you've got this value area, high area, and then why lower? Why lower? There's nothing there. Just because the way the price can over crash, over extend when the price wants to go down. Yeah, that's the only reason. And even though there's nothing there, there is actually something there. Potentially you've got the value area low of this volume range, and you've got the idea here of a higher low off this pivot, but you've got taken the liquidity from this pivot for a higher low, but a back test of this SR flip. So that's actually a really important big level, this SR flip. I think that's a really important level. I think it's really important. And we might get a nice clean back test of that SR flip. It could take out the first pivot. It could even take out this green pivot, but it will still be a clean test. And so it will be really bearish because you're just going through these liquidity levels, but it might just be a clean back test. And so the important thing is to have your levels marked, but be ready for a reaction. But when you get a reaction, it's a trade. What you're actually looking for is a sign of strength off a reaction. Well, that's really what we're looking for. And so the price, if I zoom in a little bit, yeah, I've got these levels on my mind where you could trade. You could take nice trades. You can take, the price could bounce. And kind of zoom in so it's easier to see. The price could easily come in and bounce and then crash. Yeah. So you get a trade, you take your profit, and then the price goes through, you get another bounce, and then it continues. And so you can get nice little trades, take profit, make a bit of money. But until we get signs of strength from clean reversal market structure changes, you can't really long it. You just have to wait for that to happen. And the sign of strength that we're looking for is reclaiming levels. And so right now what we're looking at, it's the same actually, is this idea of some kind of flag, some kind of whatever. And you know, I think traders or people will be looking to short this. They'll be looking to short the highs for a swing failure. And at the moment, the trend is a bit more like this. The minute you break down, they'll be looking to short the point of control here. That's effectively what they're looking to do. No one's really looking to long this unless you get a sign of strength. And I'm not seeing signs of strength right now. Sign of strength would be, in this context, the idea would be a reclaim off some kind of bullish harmonic, a reclaim. There's a pivot there. It goes down, takes liquidity for a higher low, and then you get a strong reclaim. And the volume and the order flow has to match. Otherwise, I think people will be more likely to short this, and then you'll be looking for lower prices. But I think in the context of, and I'll put this here. Shorts. Hide that. Bearish trend. Let me just hide all these levels now. I think what I'll be interested to see are these channels that I drew from a long time ago. Higher time frame channels on the log chart. I mapped them out. So I mean, I'd have to go back to my streams to see exactly how I did that, but usually I put in a lot of effort when I do that, and so I'm assuming that they're okay. I can see you've got these. I've got these horizontal channels on the higher time frame. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. This is all correct. You can see there was a nice SR, and this midpoint, it looks good. It looks good here. Bit messy here, but you can see it hits the bottom there perfectly, hits the top there perfectly, and you see here the midpoint is hit there. So I think if we lose that, I think because we're in this kind of next part, that's kind of where we are underneath 74. I think probabilistically we're looking to go down to test it somehow. I don't know exactly where, somewhere between 48 and 51 for a nice clean SR flip. And you see the SR flip here is marked out. It does align perfectly. If we were to do it in the next 2 weeks, it would be like this. Be another back. It would be like this. It would be another test of this ascending channel that I have. That's probably the highest probability trade for a higher low or a lower or a liquidity grab. I think that's where you're looking for a reaction. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. The longer it takes, so let's say we just kind of, then the more bearish it becomes, because now you've lost this channel. So even though you bounce, you bounce into resistance, and then you can actually go even further. So if it was to go down now, it'd be much nicer because you'd have a confluence for a really nice buying tail pivot of a major SR flip into the right zone. But if it took another 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 weeks where we're just kind of lingering here, and then we lost that channel and bounce, then the probability is that you go up, back test that lost channel for a further drop. And the further drop could be another liquidity grab, or it could actually try to go even lower. Yeah, so there's like options, but it's based on time, and we have to see how that plays out. I think that's Bitcoin, my kind of weekly Bitcoin analysis. I hope that helps if people are looking at that. I'm also interested to see ETH BTC, and I've been talking about ETH BTC a lot. I'm interested to see ETH BTC find support off the golden pocket here. I'd like to see that. That could take a few weeks to play out. And I think as soon as we get into that area, I'm going to look at that more closely, and you can clearly see that we've got a way to go. And so while this continues to play out, I'd like to see if there's support there. If not, then we're going for lower, and then maybe we're going for the lows again. All right. So that's my weekly BTC update. I hope you like that. If you do like it, I hope that you would kind of come back and watch me on a weekly basis to get your weekly Bitcoin update. I'm in El Salvador. I'll be talking more about El Salvador as well, the crypto parts of El Salvador. I'm going to be developing my stream a little bit more to talk about crypto events and crypto stuff and Bitcoin stuff in El Salvador. And then also I'm going to be trading again and then doing some live trades like I used to back on my channel. When I get that started, I think I'll be able to grow the community again. So if you like this video, if you like it, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and that would help me.